quantum holography matrix engaged. Power to maximum. Quantum neural integration commencing. Upgrade complete. Gearbox online. Quantum reactor initializing. All systems coming online.
Problems just about to come. Is this thing on? Gearbox, can you hear me? Is the signal coming through? I mean, it looks nice and strong on my end, but you just never know nowadays. Especially with the Nemesis out there trying to stop the signal and keep us from, getting out there in the big old wide scheme of things, all the good stuff. Yeah, it's like that. It's like, I don't even know. Jimmy crack up. Well, hopefully everything's going good. It has been a hot minute, hasn't it? Wow, yeah. Feels like a lifetime ago. Mother Murgatroyd. Wow. Now that I actually think about it. Yeah, it's like that. Hey there, recruit, and welcome back to the Heart of Geekdom. This is House of G, coming at you from an undisclosed location in the farthest reaches of the galaxy. Ooh, doggy. And, yeah. Welcome back. Holy cow. Yeah, the House of G is back on here. Hopefully for good this time. We will see. Things are just kind of in constant state of flux. You know what I mean? Well, fortunately, one thing I've gotten pretty good at is flying by the seat of my pants. And it's absolutely crazy. For those of you that are new to the channel, which is probably most of you, if not all of you, somehow I managed to hold on to my 60 subs. Got no idea if any of them are going to get notified or not. Your guess is as good as mine at this point, but Jim McGrath. Last time House of G was on the air was almost 3 solid years ago. If you can believe that. I just can't believe that. Dude, it's been a hot minute. And well, the crazy thing is, I was looking through the last upload that I did. It was a live stream. It was the going off the air stream, and just to check and see exactly how I ended things. It's actually quite surprising. And I told you guys that I'd be, House of G would be back on air as soon as possible. Which 3 years isn't exactly timely, but better late than never, right? Am I right or am I right? And well, it's a very good reason why House of G is back on the air at this time. It's been a crazy 3 years. Absolutely wild ride, very unexpected journey to say the least. And as you can see, things have definitely changed for Rebel Squadron's House of G. And for those that might not know, this is actually my side channel. My main channel is Rebel Squadron. I try to focus more on just being a geek and do a lot of gaming over there and whatnot. Circumstances kind of force me to have certain conversations that nobody else wants to have. But, opportunity popped up to, bring House of G back online. And here's where I definitely focus more on, the less fun stuff, the more talkative stuff and whatnot. But make no mistake, the House of G is very much a Rebel Squadron property. And side channel, sister channel to the Rebel Squadron channel. And, it's good to be back though. It feels amazing to be back, especially being all dressed to the nines, so to speak. It's definitely a massive upgrade from the previous format. I'm very happy about it. Let's just put it that way. So, personally, I don't know. I think this is going to be just the perfect way to kick off the relaunch of the House of G. And, today I'm going to start a series here. It's going to be, there's a couple of angles to it. First and foremost, we're going to be taking a journey into what the Heart of Geekdom really is all about. It's something that I've been trying to put into words, trying to explain to people over 4 years now. A little background, I started Rebel Squadron over 4 years ago. I've been a geek my entire life. I was born a geek since as far back as I can remember. I have been a geek. It's in my blood, it's in my DNA. And it's very much a part of my identity. It's very much a part of who I am. I go back to the days of Pong, Atari, Nintendo, the original, you name it. Yeah. That's it's a little snapshot in my street cred as a geek. Let me tell you, things have changed. Over the last few decades, things have changed drastically. So much so I do not recognize modern pop culture. I do not recognize modern geekdom. And that has been a pretty major obstacle, let's put it that way. And, over 4 years now, I've been trying very hard to reconnect with modern pop culture, modern geekdom, to bridge that gap, so to speak. And you may or may not be surprised how difficult that has been. It's been exceedingly difficult, no doubt about that. It's been a journey trying to figure it out, trying to figure out where that disconnect is. And I think I've got a pretty solid handle on it at this point, which is part of the reason why House of G is back on air today. Yeah, it's like that. So yeah, I think I finally got a good place to start. I've tried to explain to people what the Heart of Geekdom is in vague and general terms. But there's one thing I finally realized recently, finally clicked. Well, the foundation of the Heart of Geekdom is pretty common back in the day when I was a young geekling growing up, and this is how drastically things have changed in just the last few decades. That foundation, it no longer exists. It simply does not exist, and that has been a hard pill to swallow for me, because it's not something I wanted to fight. It's not something I wanted to accept. It's not something I wanted to believe. I couldn't believe that things have changed that much for the worse. But here we are. So now it finally dawned on me. Well, when foundation is gone, the starting point is at the foundation. You got to rebuild that foundation. Explain it to people from the ground up, Try to educate people as best you can. It's up to you guys if you want to listen. It's up to you guys if you even care. Well, that is beyond my control. The best I can do is just, try to explain things. Try to educate. What I'm talking about is a real thing here, guys. The Heart of Geekdom is a real and true thing. I grew up with it, and I've watched it fall apart, fall to pieces. I watched it be ground into dust by these just absolutely psychotic companies in mainstream media. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not being facetious. I'm being quite serious and quite literal. These people are psychotic to the truest extent of the word. It boggles the mind. And they got all this power, money, resources. They've taken beloved franchises and just run them into the ground, and then some. It's incredible to witness and behold. It truly is. So, the key difference between me and pretty much all these other channels, their goal is to whine and complain about the problem. And key difference is that I'm here to solve the problem. I'm here to shine the light on the problem, the core of the problem, the heart of the problem, and offer actual solutions to fix the problem. That's the key difference between me and these other guys. So, if that sounds good to you, you're more than welcome to hang out and embark on your own personal journey into the Heart of Geekdom. And today is we're going to be talking about the genesis of the Heart of Geekdom. For those who don't know what that word means, in simplest terms possible, it means the beginning of the Heart of Geekdom. And some of you may have some idea where I'm going with this. So let me ask you a question. Who is the first geek? Was it Walt Disney? No. Was it Bob King or Todd McFarlane or maybe even Charlie Chaplin? No, none of these guys. Could have been Aristotle. Maybe? Nah, he's not the first. Humanity's been around a while. It's first geek. It's gotta go way back, farther than that, And where do you think we might need to go? Well, the answer might surprise you. Because I know when it finally dawned on me, it certainly surprised me. Well, let me give you a little hint here. Got me here the 15.99 Geneva Bible Patriots Edition. It's a fantastic Bible, fantastic translation. My advice to you, if you pick up one of these, the Holy Bible, inspired Word of God, do not pick up a modern translation. Modern translations are absolute garbage. You need to go further back, as far back as you can. So far, the farthest back I've been able to go is the 1599 Geneva edition. And it has been a phenomenal translation. I read through it more than once, and it's just, I've seen things in this translation of the Word that I have not seen before. And both literally and just from a spiritual standpoint, from my spiritual eyes. It's been an incredible journey and countless revelations throughout this translation. And, well, if you're all offended at this point of the conversation, you're probably not going to like a lot about what else I got to say. So it's up to you if you want to stick around or not. I encourage you to keep an open mind. You might be surprised. Just put it that way. And, well, let the journey begin. So, who is the first geek? That's the question of the day. Let me start something here. As we begin our genesis into the heart of geekdom. Let's start with, well, no irony here. Very intentional, if I'm being honest. Genesis 1:1. 1 second. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. What's the key part of that there? God created. Well, what is kind of at the heart and soul of being a geek? Creation. Imagination. Storytelling. You know? See, what we're doing here is we're looking at the Bible here through the lens of geekdom, through the eyes of a geek. True blue, old-fashioned, old-school geek. Me. Looking through the Word of God, through that lens. To answer that question, who is the first geek? Hopefully, you know, if you're not already wearing those lenses, then hopefully by the end of this conversation, you will decide to put on those lenses so you can see what I see. Understand what I understand. That's my hope and my prayer. So, let's get back to it. God created. Interesting, right? But, you know, well, Rebel, he created the heaven and the earth. I mean, that's not that creative. I mean, it's the heaven and the earth. I mean, you got the sky and the ground. I mean, it's kind of creative, you know. It's not like Sistine Chapel by Michelangelo. You know, I mean, that took a lot of work. It's got a lot of detail and stuff, and I mean, it's something. But it's, you know, let me continue here. Let me continue. And the earth was without form and voice. Yeah, you're right there. Barring the fact that he created this out of nothing. Well, let me take a step back here. So, before the physical world existed, there was no physical world. There was no physical reality. Physical matter did not exist. It just wasn't a thing throughout creation. Creation at that time, before he created the heavens and the earth, creation was a spiritual plane. It was a spiritual world. No mass, no matter, no physical bodies. Did not exist. God is a divine spirit, the divine spirit, the one and only divine spirit. Everything he created up until that point were other spiritual creatures, creations. You and I are creatures. We are created. We are created beings. That's what a creature is. How we're a different type of creature than 99.9% of them. Animals, dogs, cats, insects, those are creatures, created entities, created beings. But they don't have sentience. not like we do. But they are created like we are, with one key difference. We'll get to that at some point. Before Genesis 1:1, there was no physical reality. It was all spiritual. Now, people talk about the physical world. Oh, the physical world is the real world. Yes and no. The spiritual world is the original real world. The spiritual world is real. It is, well, at the time, it was the natural world. Now, we consider the physical world to be the natural world. The spiritual world is the supernatural world. But it's still very much natural because that's how God created it. And it actually existed before the physical world. So hopefully you understand where I'm going with this. Let's see here. It wasn't until that moment God made the decision and spoke the physical world into existence, with the heaven and the earth. Now, barring the fact that, yeah, the heaven, the sky, the earth, I mean, strictly speaking, not a lot of detail going on. But here's the thing. You tried creating something out of thin air just using your voice. How's it going? No, try it right now, speak it, Let there be heaven, let there be earth. No luck so far. How about you? Any luck? Let me know. I'm not having much luck here. God, on the other hand, I mean, there's nothing for him. He spoke and he existed. Boom. One moment, it was all just the spiritual world. Next, boom. You get the spiritual world and you got the physical world that previously did not exist a moment before. That's, I mean, that's pretty impressive if you ask me. It's a very impressive start. Creating the heavens and the earth out of nothing from physical matter that did not exist. I'm impressed. I don't know about you. Just saying. But wait, there's more. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the waters. So he created the heavens and the earth, which include, well, the waters. When it says the earth, it's not just talking about the earth. It's talking about all the matter within the earth, and on the earth, and above the earth. Rocks, dirt, water, sky. Seems like it's a bit more complicated than you might first think, And he took a moment to enjoy what he created, to take pleasure in what he created. He didn't create it just on a whim. I mean, trust me on this. Put a lot of thought into it. Great deal of thought into it. Now, where you and I might have to spend like hours and days and weeks and months, years, putting thought into stuff to figure things out. I'm recently certain it didn't take him that long to figure it out. Doesn't change the fact he put a lot of thought into it. Speed of which is besides the point. Put a lot of thought into it. Might have been like that, but it's still a lot of thought, make no mistake. And yeah, I mean, if you create something, let's say you wear the label of geek and you're creative, because I've never known a geek that was not creative in some way, shape, or form. Let's say you create something. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good or bad it is. We're not talking about the quality of the work. As far as us human beings go, you created something. Even if it wasn't that great, you still loved it. You enjoyed it. You're like so proud of it. It's like, wow, that's so cool. I mean, yeah, okay, I can do better, but I love it. Why? Because I created it. Well, God created the heavens and the earth, and he took a moment to enjoy it, to take pleasure in his creation. Just like you and I take pleasure in the stuff that we create. I take great pleasure in this. I created this from hand. All of this. Everything you see here, I made. I created it from scratch. It took me a long freaking time. I didn't just like speak and exist and boom. I was like, okay, command center, boom. Gearbox, boom. No. What you see here, this command center and gearbox down there, 5 months. It took me 5 months to create this. God could have done it with a single spoken word. You see where I'm getting at? Hopefully you see where I'm getting at here. Point blank. It's a labor of love. Now, God spoke it into existence like that. Guess what? It was still a labor of love. Didn't take him virtually no effort, but it doesn't change the fact that, it was a labor of love for him. And what he did, no human being can do. Like I said, the amount of time it took didn't change anything. He loved what he created, and he took a moment to take pleasure in his creation. It's pretty geek-like if you ask me. No? Yeah. I think so. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. So, without cheating, without flipping the light switch, I'm a geek. I know what I know how sneaky you guys are. Without flipping the light switch, without turning on a lighter or a flashlight. Just nothing but your words. And no, not the clap on. If you got some sort of like voice activated thing, you do not count in this exercise. I only get the clappers and stuff like that. No clapping. No cheating. Right now, say it. Let there be light. Well, other than my 2 ring lights that are already going, nothing. I get nothing. Without the ring lights, I'd be sitting here in darkness and you'd be having trouble seeing. See what I'm getting at? It's pretty amazing stuff, if you ask me. Very creative. He created the light out of nothing. I'd say it's impressive. And considering, if you know anything about physics, light is very fascinating stuff. It's not just like just light. It's got wave properties. It's got matter properties, which is incredible. Blows my mind. And it's got such incredible properties to it. It behaves in specific ways, unexpected ways even. And it's just like God created it with his own voice. In the space of what for us would be, space of a heartbeat. A single breath. That's pretty creative, man, if you ask me. It's extremely creative. Could you have come up with a concept for light without studying what God had already created? Could you have come up with that concept out of nothing? I know I couldn't. If I was just a spiritual being without a physical body, not being God, I could not even contemplate what the physical world would be. I wouldn't even be able to understand the concept of a physical world unless God explained it to me. Most likely. Even if I could, not to this degree. Not even close. It's pretty creative if you ask me. And we're just getting started. And God saw the light that it was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. That reminds me of something. Might be. I don't want to get too sidetracked. I want to stay on point. I don't want to I want to keep this as succinct as possible. But he saw that it was good. Why is that significant? Well, I bet you did not know. It's in the Bible. God created evil. You might be thinking, wow, it's impossible. God's good. Why would God create evil? Wouldn't that not make him evil? That was the first fleeting thought that popped into my head. I was like, no, that can't be right. And I thought about it, explored it, and it finally dawned on me. God created evil by defining evil. Evil already existed. But he didn't truly exist until he defined it. Before he defined it, there was no such thing as good and evil. It was just all there. Once he defined it, He separated good from evil. He created good and evil so that good could exist and be defined, so evil could be defined and defeated. Because if you don't have a definition for something, I mean, number one, does it really exist? Number two, how can you fight something, defeat something? It doesn't strictly exist. It does, but it doesn't. Something to think about. And it's probably something I'll touch on later. Not today. Some other time. But he said it was good. Why? Because it wasn't evil. It didn't cause harm. It was good for his plans. At this point, I mean, he already had everything planned out. He knew he was going to create the creatures. He knew he was going to create mankind. He knew it was going to be good for life itself. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. The evening and the morning were the first day. So that was the first day of creation. And he's already creating some pretty amazing stuff. Stuff that I doubt I could even just begin to contemplate. You know, at age, he just did it like that. Incredibly powerful acts of creation, if you ask me. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and separated the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. So it wasn't enough that there was water. He made different types of water. Water of the seas, lakes, rivers, from the water of the air. You know, the clouds. That's where we get rain from. Water in the clouds. Water in the clouds. That's the firmament. People got a lot of misconceptions about what the firmament is. It's not like some solid object. It's very fluid in its own way. Very fluid. It's got little fluid in it, water. And, I mean, who's going to think of that? You know? God did. I doubt many human beings would have thought of that. I'm just saying. Just saying. God called the firmament heaven, so the evening and the morning were the second day. God said again, let the waters under the heaven be gathered into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. Got ahead of myself here. Got ahead of myself. See, earth existed, but it was all covered in water. He's like, okay, we're going to take it, separate it. Why? Because he's creative, and he thinks ahead. He thinks like a million steps ahead. Well, we can think, 1, 2, 10, if we're lucky, maybe like 20 steps ahead. He's thinking an infinite number of steps ahead. Why? Because he's just infinitely creative. God called the dry land earth, and he called the gathering together of the water seas, and God saw that it was good. Not evil, good. Because it is good. I love the ocean, I love the beach, love mountains, plains. I love the earth, and I love the seas, I love the sky. It's all good stuff. It really is when you stop and think about it. It's so much variety, it's infinite variety. Even I'm a biological scientist, certified biologist. I dedicate 10 years to biology and medicine. And to this day, I'm constantly seeing stuff, especially on Twitter. Stuff's constantly popping up from all different forms of biology. It just blows my mind. It's like, wow, that's cool. I had no idea that existed. That's amazing. God just, oh my Lord. I'm getting ahead of myself here. But I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. And God said, let the earth bud forth, the bud of the earth, the herb. That seedeth seed in the fruitful tree, which beareth fruit according to his kind, which hath his seed in itself upon the earth. And it was so. So now we're getting into seeds, herbs, fruit trees. And yes, I know what some of you guys are thinking when he's talking about the bud of the earth. Yeah, technically, yeah, that counts. But, I mean, he's talking about way more than that. Trust me. There's much more to botany than just, you know, the special type of bud that you're thinking about. Let's just leave it at that. Yeah, I mean, spices, foods, plants. I mean, to this day, I mean, stuff is popping up, different types of plants, whatever. I'm like, that exists? That's a thing? That's real? Like, holy cow. It's just, it doesn't end. It just doesn't end. The world is a big place. Technology has made it a much smaller place, but physically, strictly speaking, it's still a very big place. There's just so much variety on this little rock, little blue marble. And it's like, it just never ceases to blow my mind. The sheer amount of creativity, ingenuity, originality, in God's own word, when he spoke this stuff into existence, I'd be like, holy cow. I just like, the depths of his creativity and originality, they're infinite. They don't end. Sounds an awful lot like a geek to me. Not just any geek, if you know what I mean. The earth brought forth the bud of the herb, the seed according to its kind, and also the tree that beareth fruit, which hath his seed in itself according to its kind, and God saw that it was good. Which touches on another point of geekdom. One thing about being a geek, like legitimate pop culture geek properties, they make sense. They're logical. You cannot suspend disbelief if they don't make any sense, if there's not logic to it, if they don't obey the laws of physics and reality itself. Being a geek, if you when you're creating, especially if you're creating your own world, it's got to follow the rules of that world, of physics. Whatever they make, like you can come up with your own little variations on laws of physics and whatnot in your own world. You can do that. It's the power of being a geek. So in that sense, we do actually have the power to create worlds with our own words. Let that sink in. You write a book, guess what you're doing? You're creating an entire world with nothing but your words. And our own minds, our imaginations bring that to life. But you never thought about that. Because that just dawned on me. And I've been around a while. Let that sink in. Maybe there's more of a connection with God than we realized. Or at least some of you. Maybe. Interesting. Where was I? So the evening and the morning were the third day. God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be light for lights in the firmaments of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. God then made two great lights. The greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made also the stars. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to shine upon the earth, and to rule in the day and in the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. So the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Going back a step, comes to the fruits of the trees and stuff like that. Plants of all kinds. There's such an infinite variety of plants. And when you get down into the cellular level, holy cow, you have no idea how deep it goes. I went to some hardcore biology lessons and whatnot. As a biological scientist, like it just never ended. Like I was like, okay, how much deeper can it go? And I go to that next level and it's like, holy cow, it just keeps going. And then, okay, we got to be in there. Go to the next level. Boom, it just keeps going deeper and deeper. Like, is there an end to it? I don't know. For all I know, it goes on to infinity. We just haven't developed the means to be able to like take it all the way down. That includes biological science, like just mammals and stuff like that, non-plant type biology. It's just infinite variety. I don't even know how to describe it without going into like a 4-year college lesson. But now we're getting to the stars. We're getting to like more like astrological physics. Countless stars. We don't even know how many stars. Trillions and trillions and trillions of stars. God made them like that with his word. And there's so much variation, so many different types of stars and planets, like in galaxies. And he came up with it on his own, in the space of a heartbeat, space of a breath. It's pretty creative, if you ask me. Pretty original, a lot of originality going on here. We're just talking about the face value of these heavenly bodies. You get down to like what they're made out of, what kind of like physical characteristics they have, stuff like that. It just keeps going and going and going. Like, holy cow. I created all this. It took me 5 months. But guess what? What you see is what you get. There's just electrons on a screen. You can't like break it apart and do experiments on them. It's 3D generated. Now there's physics going on behind the monitor and everything in the program. But I mean, it's nothing compared to like an entire universe filled with stars and planets and animals and bugs and birds. Very big difference. This is a simulation of all that. Not nearly as complicated. A lot of work. Way more work. But not nearly as complicated. Let that blow your mind. Afterward, God said, let the waters bring forth in abundance every creeping thing that have life. Let the fowl fly upon the earth and in the open firmament of the heaven. Then God created the great whales and everything living and moving, which the waters brought forth in abundance according to their kind. And every feathered fowl according to his kind, and God saw that it was good. Then God blessed them, saying, bring forth fruit and multiply. And fill the waters in the seas, and let the fowl multiply in the earth. So the evening and the morning were the 5th day. So he created birds and whales, creeping things. This is where he really gets going in terms of life. And he does this all in one single day. I mean, do you understand how many plants and animals, birds, creeping things there are? Like insects alone, there's thought to be more insects than everything else combined. Non-insect, animal life, all of it. Just there's more insects than all of it. And there's so many different types of insects. Oh yeah, even when we got like say grasshoppers, it's all these different types of grasshoppers. You got roaches, all kinds of different roaches. You got ants, all kinds of different ants. Blows my mind. My brain overloads just thinking about it. Holy cow! Like God did it in a single day with but a word. Now let this blow your mind. Let this blow your mind. Take dogs for example. They all started from wolves back in the day. God created the wolf, but he didn't just create the wolf. Within the DNA of that wolf, he included the DNA for every single known canine in existence that was bred out of the wolf. Let that blow your mind. He created them. He created their DNA, put it in the wolf before they ever existed physically as separate entities, separate creatures from the wolf. He's a pretty smart dude, if you ask me. Very ingenious. Just saying. Moreover, God said, let the earth bring forth the living things according to this kind, cattle, and that which creepeth, and the beasts of the earth according to this kind, and it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to his kind, and the cattle according to his kind, and every creeping thing of the earth according to his kind, and God saw that it was good. Furthermore, God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the heaven, and over the beasts, and over all the earth, and over everything that creepeth and moveth on the earth. God created the man in his image. In the image of God created he him. He created them male and female. God blessed them, and God said to them, bring forth fruit and multiply, and fill the earth, and subdue it, and rule over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the heaven, and over every beast that moveth upon the earth. And God said, behold, I have given unto you every herb-bearing seed which is upon all the earth, and every tree wherein is the fruit of a tree bearing a seed, that shall be to you for meat. Likewise every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the heaven, and to everything that moveth upon the earth, which hath life in itself. Every green herb shall be for me. And it was so. And God saw all that he had made, and lo, it was very good. So the evening and the morning were the 6th day. So this is where he finishes creating all the beasts of the earth. And on top of that, mankind. And most importantly, out of all these creatures and fowl and insects, and everything that he made, there's something different about mankind. Because he made mankind in his own image. That's a topic for another day. We will get into that at some point. How it applies to geekdom. Pop culture. The true heart of geekdom. we'll save that for another time. Point being, immense amount of creativity, originality. So many different beasts of the earth. Yeah, how many different types of cattle? How many different types of dogs? How many different types of cats? How many different types of birds? Even within the same general, genre, species, subspecies. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. It just blows my mind. He did in a single day, boom, like that. That's creativity, that's originality. If you ask me, that's the heart of a geek. And then mankind. That's the coup de grace. It's the cherry on top. Whether you believe that or not, you as a human being are something special. In all of creation, make no mistake. It's something for you to think about for possibly next time. Probably next time. Think about that. It's very clear. He gave us dominion over the earth. He very clearly says it. And God said, behold, I have given unto you, meaning mankind, meaning Adam. He's talking to Adam here, guys. The first Adam. The original Adam. I have given unto you every herb-bearing seed which is upon all the earth, and every tree wherein is the fruit of a tree bearing seed that shall be to you for meat. Likewise, every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of heaven, and to everything that moveth upon the earth, which have life, everything shall be for meat. And it was so. Oh, yeah, there's the part. So after he creates man in his image, and God blessed them, and God said to them, bring forth fruit and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it. And rule over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of them. Right there, rule over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the heavens, and over every beast that moveth upon the earth. It's pretty powerful stuff, if you ask me. He gave us dominion over the entire earth and everything that creeps and crawls upon it, and over it, and in it, and under it. That's just powerful. Keep that in mind. Think about that for later. Contemplate that for a while. Let that percolate. Let that percolate. And then, as everybody knows, on the seventh day, he rested. Not that he needed to rest, per se. God is tireless. He doesn't sleep. He's always there. He's always awake. He always knows what's going on in your life, even when you're sleeping. There's a point to that seventh-day rest. First and foremost, he wanted to enjoy what he created. He wanted to take pleasure in what he created, interacting with it, observing it. Most especially mankind. Most especially Adam and Eve. Wanted to get to know them. Wanted to get to know his creation. Talk to them, interact with them. Teach them. Show them how much he loved them and cared for them. So you take that day off just to do that. And to set an example. You want to make sure that, 6 days a week, we worked hard. We kept busy. We did what needed to be done. But to make sure we took a day off. To enjoy the fruits of our labors. To relax, unwind, decompress. Now, in the Garden of Eden, that was pretty easy. The work was easy. So, very different ball of wax. But still very much applied. Still had meaning. It was still very important. So, pretty creative stuff, right? Pretty creative, original. Original to the point that it takes mankind centuries, millennia, to research, study, discover the secrets of our reality, the secrets of our world, the secrets of life, down to the cellular level, the genetic level, the quantum level. And there's still, what we know is so tiny compared to what we don't know. Some, like, it's just, I can't even begin to imagine how much we do not know yet. If you ask me, that is the hallmark of a geek. So let me ask you again, who is the first geek? Sounds to me like our Heavenly Father, God Almighty, creator of this universe, this entire physical reality. Well, in my humble opinion, I do believe he's the first geek. And quite frankly, the ultimate geek. Is anybody ever going to be as geek as God? I don't think so. But doesn't mean we can't try. Doesn't mean we can't be creative in his image. Doesn't mean we can't come up with our own original stuff in his image. He created stuff. Very, very extremely the ultimate original stuff. By being geeks, we are following in his footsteps. By engaging in original thought, we are following in the footsteps of God Almighty, our Heavenly Father. The original ultimate geek. The first geek to have ever existed. Think about that for a while. Let it blow your mind. Just as it did mine. Especially through the lens of geekdom. What is the heart of geekdom? Well, not to get ahead of myself here, but to put it in the simplest terms possible, our Heavenly Father is the heart of geekdom. But we will go deeper than that. Like I said, that's just putting it in the simplest terms possible. We will go deeper than that. Think about the golden age of comic books, a very different time. We're laying the foundation here of not just modern pop culture, but pop culture in general throughout human history. The human drive, desire to create, to tell stories. You gotta think about something when it comes to the Bible. Okay, who is the first storyteller? God is. God wrote this book before the world existed. He had it all up here, ready to go. All he needed were those human hands to put pen to paper. He didn't need it. He could have written it with his own finger in a book of stone if he wanted to. But he did it the way he did for one very simple reason. To reveal himself to us, human beings. And so we could get to know him. And so that he could build a relationship with us. But I digress. God was the first storyteller. Was and is and always will be the first storyteller. Storytelling is in our blood, it's in our veins, it's in our genes, it's in our very soul. Why? Because God's the first storyteller. God is the first geek. That's why it's in our soul. That's why being a geek is in my DNA. I was born a geek because God was the first geek. And I am made in his image. Let that blow your mind. Let that set the foundation as we journey into the heart of geekdom. It's a very important conversation, guys. And I'm not even just talking about from a religious standpoint. I'm talking about pop culture, the state of modern pop culture. What they've done is just tear it down, destroy it, turn it inside out, upside down, completely bastardize it. I mean, what they've done in pop culture is nothing short of sacrilege, as you will discover throughout this series. That's why I'm so incensed when it comes to this stuff. That's why I'm so passionate about it. I mean, this has been a journey for me as well. Over more than 4 years now, I've been doing this. And to give you more background, like when I started this channel, it was practically on a whim. I was in a guild with Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And I had built up a squad. CLS, Han Solo, Chewbacca. Wait a minute. Wait. Oh man, I'm blanking on it. It was a tank solo squad. Oh man, I can't remember who exactly it was. Oh my lord, who was it? I know CLS, Han Solo. I'm pretty sure Chewbacca. No. Wampa. CLS, Han Solo, Wampa. I think Hermit Yoda. Oh my lord, I gotta go back. It's been a long time. It's been years. Point being, I made this solo squad to be able to solo the wrong tank raid. One of my guildies was like, man, I would love to be able to see your squad in action. And I was like, light bulb. Tap in my inner geek there. Made in the image of God. Light bulb moment. I'm going to start a YouTube channel, upload a video. And that's exactly what I did. That's how Robo Squadron was born. And I had no idea what it was going to turn into. It was started practically at a whim. I'd been toying with the idea of starting a channel at that point. And he gave me the perfect opportunity, the perfect excuse, the perfect medium, vector to make it happen. Just made that video, made the channel, Rebel Squadron was born. And it's been a journey ever since, non-stop journey. And I've discovered so much, I've learned so much. The core of the channel, the mission of the channel, the heart of the channel has grown by leaps and bounds exponentially. And I've discovered so many things about modern pop culture and geekdom that I just wasn't consciously aware of up until then. And it's been a journey and a struggle to try to come to terms with what I've learned and put it into words. Like I understand it up here, I understand it in here, I understand it on a instinctual level, but putting it into words to where other people can understand it, much more difficult process. Much more difficult. It's taken over 4 years. Now God can do it in the blink of an eye. He understands these things before they're even... He understood these things before he even laid the foundations of this physical reality. Let that sink in. Here we are, and I'm starting to figure these things out. How to relay this information, how to explain this stuff. And it finally dawned on me very recently, very recently. This is where to begin. There's something else you got to keep in mind here before we wrap things up. A lot of very evil people out there have been taking control of mainstream pop culture, mainstream media, which is why they've destroyed our pop culture. They destroyed our pop culture because they want to destroy any possible faith and belief in God, as I will prove. By laying out the foundation of the true Heart of Geekdom, everybody taking this journey will understand. They didn't just remove God from schools, government, everything. They remove God from the very DNA of our country and our society. And we gotta fix that. And that includes pop culture. That includes geekdom. Very much so. Oh, I'm on the right track. Yeah. Where was I? Kind of lost my train of thought. Getting ready to wrap things up here anyway, so hopefully I'm giving you guys some really good stuff to think about. I didn't know how this is going to go. This is my first time doing something like this. You know, working a channel for over 4 years, it's been an incredible experience. My eyes have been open to so many things. Just take a look at Dr. Disrespect. Mr. Beast is like the biggest one yet. Holy cow. I don't know if it's ever going to... He's like the biggest Goliath that's about to fall. He's already in the process of falling, guys. If you don't know, you got to check it out. You probably, if you're watching this, you probably know. It's Buddy Chris. I'm not going to go too deep into it right now. But him and his buddy Chris had that Discord. And Mr. Beast was an active part of it, knew exactly what was going on. That is who Mr. Beast really is. That is the type of person that is in control of our pop culture. He did not get to where he is on his own. He had help from people upstairs. And I'm not talking about God. I'm talking about some very dark, evil, and wicked people upstairs in the upper tiers of pop culture, mainstream pop culture. which is why this conversation is so important. If you stick around for the journey, you will understand in the long run, if you don't already. I guarantee you. All right, guys. I think that's probably a good point to go ahead and wrap things up on. I hope you enjoyed it. This is the first step into the journey of the Heart of Geekdom. And, well, that right there was the genesis of the Heart of Geekdom. God, our Heavenly Father, is the first and ultimate geek. And that, the reason that is so important, that is the cornerstone of this journey. That is the cornerstone of what the true Heart of Geekdom really is. If you do not come from that perspective, if you do not look at pop culture and geekdom through this lens, this specific lens, at that specific starting point, everything else veers off into oblivion. Everything else is wrong at that point. That first step might be a small one, but that first misstep is all it takes to veer off into oblivion, into what we're dealing with in modern pop culture. So you need to make sure you're looking through that lens of geekdom at that starting point, where God is the first and ultimate geek. If you maintain that focus, everything else will fall into place. The moment you take your eyes off of that cornerstone, over that core tenet, that's where you start getting things wrong. And that's how we end up with modern pop culture. Just keep that in mind moving forward. Hopefully come back. There will be more of these, God willing. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world today. A lot of crazy stuff. Galaxy spiraling out of control. So the plan is to have that this is only the first of this series. I'm very happy to have House of G up and running again. I had no idea how it was going to happen, what kind of form it was going to take, but here we are. And honestly, I'm extremely happy about it. I'm very happy with how this came about. So I'm very much looking forward to it myself. Very excited about it. I love the opportunity to take everything that's been going on up here, everything that's been going on in here, finally put into words in a format that hopefully will be illuminating and educating. Hopefully you guys will be able to understand right out of the gate. If you got questions, let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer your questions to the best of my abilities. And yeah, I think this is going to be a really fun and exciting journey. I really do. Very excited for it. So, good doggy. But you have a fantastic Sunday. God bless you and your friends, families, and loved ones. You know, and welcome to the first steps of your journey into the true Heart of Geekdom. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. So, good doggy. All right, guys. Have a great one. Hopefully, I'll see you next time. Yeah, well, this has been another House of G, speaking into the void.
Interference detected. Attempting to boost signal strength. Will attempt to re-establish contact. Signal corrupted. Attempting to rebuild holocom matrix. Transmission signal lost. Status of commander unknown.